A couple months ago, I was at a public place, and this guy was filming. I don't know exactly what he was filming, but it was in a public place.
Okay.
And I'm not sure if somebody made a complaint about him filming, or if it was an on-view situation by the officer. I didn't get anybody's names or anything, but the whole issue came up about public photography. And so it kind of made me wonder what the big deal is, you know? And so your officer told the man that he was making a lawful order for him to stop filming. And I couldn't figure out why.
Okay.
So I went online and I looked up, I can't remember exactly what I put in, but this thing came up about this guy that goes out and videos police and other public officials, and it's called Photography is Not a Crime.
Okay.
PINAC. And he created his own, what do you call that? Like news outlet kind of a thing. And I looked on there, and man, it's going on all across the country.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's rampant. And so, for me, I wanted to know what your department's policy is.
As far as if somebody's filming us in public? Is that what your question is? Or
anything or anybody, because they're saying it's, you know, and it's a First Amendment protected activity. I know that. I've looked it up. And that if you're in public, you can photograph anything as long as it's not personal information that's used to steal or harm somebody or something like that.
Right.
And I was just wondering what your policy was. I am impressed, by the way, about your openness here. And this building was built in 1991. It's 27 years old, man. This has been well taken care of. I'm very much impressed.
We've outgrown it.
But I was also wondering, what are these things? Are these like barricades that come down in the
No, those are air vents for the for the air conditioning.
I thought,
heating.
wow.
No,
And so
nothing that exciting.
I've seen other departments that have a problem that with people, police are interviewing people about crimes and personal issues and stuff in the public lobby, and you take your citizens, whatever they're called, into a private room. I think that's very cool.
Oh, the interview rooms?
Yeah. And
well,
so you're not in
there. There's a lot of people come in to report pretty private things.
I know.
Has to do with their, so yes, we do have the privacy of going into a recorded interview room.
So I wanted to see if I could take a look at your policy on, or if you have.
So we don't really have a policy on it. So as long as, like you explain the situation you're explaining, somebody's out in the public and they're videotaping whatever, completely legal to do so.
Right.
If you're on private property and recording and somebody tells you you have to leave,
right,
gives you a lawful order to leave their private property, like let's say you're in a business videotaping something and the owner of the business comes up and says, hey, I don't want you on my property. I'm giving you an order to leave my property.
Right.
Therefore, after that order is given, then it would be trespassing.
Yeah, that just makes sense.
And then somebody would get arrested.
That makes sense.
In public, not a problem. Of us, anytime, not a problem. And our officers know that. So the situation you're talking about, I can't comment on because I don't have all the details.
Yeah, I've made a couple phone calls. One to your head training, your guy's in charge of training. I think his name is Dave some or other.
Mm-hmm.
To other people, and I don't get any response back. I have not received a response back.
You left. I think you left a message on my phone.
Did I?
And no name, no phone number, no nothing.
I assume it probably was me.
It sounds like your voice.
That stuff is really it screws with your brain.
And last week, if it was last week, no excuses, but obviously fall break. So a lot of us are off.
I thought your phone would have my phone number.
Oh no, because it gets transferred. Because I think you might have called into the main number. If you called my extension directly, then yes, I would have to.
Yeah, that's
but it
all
looked like
I wanted.
it got. So I think it was you left a message for me, but a lot of our guys were off last week because of fall break. So.
Okay, so
but we don't really necessarily have a policy on that. It's really
Don't
just,
you think it would be a good idea for officers to review?
not necessarily, because they're taught they're taught about the Constitution in the academy, and it's reiterated all the time. And we're constantly getting updates on case law and what we can and can't do and things like that. Policies are guidelines, essentially.
I'm retired from the Phoenix Police Department,
Okay.
so we were required to carry our general orders and operations orders with us at all times.
Yeah.
And I can't tell you, especially the hell did I just say? The operations orders. You get in your car, you pull it out. If you have any questions about anything that you're doing, you look in there and it tells you exactly how to do it. But this would probably be in the general orders type of deal. It's something
And
that
our guys have
maybe
access to
Dave,
it.
that training hey, guy, whatever, should maybe submit something to say what your policy is, so that everybody knows.
Right, and we do briefing training on things. Sergeants, like I said, are constantly go over case law and anything that's new that's coming up, and obviously recording with police officers and recording in general, as like you said, it's all over the place.
Well, I never faced that situation, so I don't know how it feels. But I tried to think back on how it was when I was a cop.
Very different. If it
Oh
was
man, it's very
any
different.
number of years. I've
Well,
been
they didn't
on the
have
job for 20
iPhones.
years, and it's different now than it
Oh,
was
in a huge
20
way.
years ago.
Yeah, in a huge way. And so, with your department, how does a person make a citizen's complaint? What's the best
Couple different
way?
ways. We have different options. We have an online option, so you can go
Oh,
online
how do we
and
get
either
there?
do a complaint or you could do a commendation. So going to the City of Prescott's website and then
Awesome.
specifically to the police department, there's a way to do one with the City of
So
Prescott.
what's the website
The City of Prescott's website.
for the police? Or it's a city?
It's City of Prescott,
Oh,
and then
okay.
under that you'll see departments, and then you choose police. So we have an online commendation / citizen complaint.
Okay.
So you can do it online. That same form is available here at the records counter, so somebody can
Well,
come and
online
ask.
would be more
Come and
convenient.
ask. For a lot of people it is.
Yeah.
But they can also come here and ask for the form, fill it out. Like I just got one in today from the weekend. So somebody could hand write one, turn it in. You can call in a complaint to a supervisor directly. So there's a lot of different ways that they can come in. I oversee internal investigations.
That's the way
So everything comes through me.
I'm aware of doing it. I didn't know that you could come in and get a complaint. And anyway, so that's all changed. So I saw your police department. What's it called? Your site?